So very good afternoon to all of you. Now we are having our technical sessions. From now onwards. So first session will be delivered by Dr. Sanjay Sharma on smart cities issues and challenges. And Dr. Sanjay Sharma is professor and head in civil engineering department. He has produced many PhD and MTech students, and he has also published various books on various topics, and he has delivered online lectures which are available on YouTube. And his area of specialization is health monitoring of structures through NDT techniques, and he is also experts in a wastewater management system, and he is also he is also one of the mentor for one of the center on clean technology. So I would like to welcome him for delivering his session. And all after this session, I am taking the one of the session in which I will deliberately explain one of the innovative technology, that is interlinked block masonry system, which is a sustainable technology developed by me only and at IIT Roorkee. So I will talk about that also after this lecture. So welcome you, Dr. Sharma. सर आपका माइक म्यूट है सर, अनम्यूट योर माइक. Dr. Sharma, your mic is mute.
Okay, now?
Yes, sir.
Screen is visible?
Yes, screen is visible, sir. But your आपकी sound बड़ी कम आ रही है.
Transparency is visible now? Presentation?
Yes, it is visible. It is visible, sir.
Okay. So we can.
So now I would like to invite Dr. Sharma to kindly start his presentation. So Dr. Sharma.
Okay, welcome back, and we will be discussing some of the issues and some of the concerns related to this smart cities. Some examples here, and why we need smart cities. With that point of view, we will be discussing in this session. Yes. So if you go into state of the world cities, I can say cities are the most innovative and complex creation of human beings. There are many cities which have basically showcased their journey, achievements, rise and fall. I think you talk about right from initial days, Mohenjo-daro, nearby Harappa, and those civilizations, they have basically flourished and then they have come to end. But many of the cities, so they are growing. Some are good cities, some are bad cities. There are so many parameters on which we say that this city is a good city. So the facilities and the other things that are created in the cities, so they are basically you can say call them as an unending story of the human growth and development, and this trend is continuing. We don't know how many cities we will see in the future also. So that should go into the development stage. The three developments defined contemporary urban world: growth in size, number, and spread of the human settlements. How much? I think there are certain cities like we talk about Delhi. So Delhi then this NCR basically concept was came into existence, and all these nearby like cities, you are this Gurgaon, say Ghaziabad, on this side Rohtak, and now we may go up to this Panipat as a NCR region. So that way, basically, that because more and more population is coming and they want to live in the cities, so our cities are continuously growing. So basically, but issue with if you go for the UN Habitat, there are cities that contain both order and chaos. You find in them beauty and ugliness, virtue and vice. So you get both like good people, and sometimes I mean, many of the say law and order related issues are originating from your cities only. So these cities can bring out the best or worst in the human mankind. They are the physical manifestation of history, culture, and incubators of innovations, industry, technology, entrepreneurship, and creativity. Cities, they are materialization of the humanity's noblest ideas, ambitions, and aspirations. So whatever basically we want from material point of view in the this thing, so we get that in the cities only. But then many times cities are not planned, they are not governed properly, and can be respiratory of the society's ill. So cities drive national economics by creating wealth, enhancing social development, and providing employment, but they can be the breeding grounds for poverty, exclusion, and environmental degradation. And I think we can see that most of the cities talk about in India, maybe like Delhi, your Bangalore, your Mumbai and Chennai, etc. So they are the most polluted cities now. I think Delhi ranks one of the, I think, in the top first 5 maybe this thing in the in terms of polluted cities. If you go back to the history, so you say 17th century was the century of England, 18th century was the century of France, 19th century was the century of Germany, 20th century of America, 21st century is the century of cities. You can say it can be century of population also, it can be century of urbanization, and so it can be called the century of technology also. And I think many people say it will be called the century of India also. So from say Indian point of view, you see that we were 1 million in 1804, but now that we have gone up to this 7 billion, and you can say the our population growth is continuing. This China and India population has more than over the 1 billion. So India may become most populated by 2036. And so we have reached 250 in 1919, 500 in 1966, 1000 in 2000, and you can see the span of increase is basically increasing, getting shorter and shorter. So last century recorded 5-fold increase in population, and similarly the towns, cities, they have a number of these cities are growing, becoming more and more. So Greater Mumbai is 18.37 million, most populous cities. Urban India is first time added more persons as compared to rural India in this our 2011 census. So that way basically we are shifting towards cities. So basically 590 million people live in urban India, twice the population of US. And 70% GDP is generated by cities, 80% revenue is generated by cities. There is 4-fold increase in per capita income, 5 times the number by which GDP would multiply, 270 million net increase in working age group. So this is just a data showing the importance of our cities in the country. And you can see that, okay, the more and more growth is taking place in our cities. And these are important because they are the areas of future concentration of population. They provide large employment. They provide areas of major investment, promotes of higher order productivity, housing quality and infrastructure services are best in our cities as compared to our rural areas, hub around which entire economy grows. So that is what basically, if you go as a major contribution of national wealth GDP, so 1920 to 25 to come to, from starting from 29 to 65% is our this thing. So 10 larger cities house about 8% of our and produce 15% GDP. Similarly, 53 also. So this is the what like we are, our cities are growing, but again the problem with the urban center is that they are poorly managed and governed, unable to meet challenges of the urban dynamism, showcase haphazard, unplanned pattern of development, promotes economic growth of slums, poor quality of life, failure to meet basic needs of shelter services, and, your land and water sanitation, etc. So similarly, population, poverty, pollution, and traffic are the greatest threat and challenges to the Indian cities. And we can call the Indian urbanization as the urbanization of population, either or urbanization of poor or urbanization of pollution. These are the three things which we are witnessing our cities. So with this background, we want that our all cities should be the smart cities. We should be not encountering this problem of say poverty, pollution, or say your like haphazard growth of the cities, leading to all those things. So smart city is not a very new concept, but the concept has been used globally to make the cities more livable. Basically, if we say smart city definition, you may find that at many places the different definition of that. The basic purpose of any city is to make the living comfortable and easy and pollution free. That is basically the main purpose of these smart cities. So the concept is basically, we can say that this concept, a smart city, can be defined as a environmentally conscious city that uses information technology to use its energy and other sources efficiently. Smart city is creation of knowledge infrastructure, and you can say that the city becomes smart when investments in human, social capital, and traditional modern communities, infrastructure, etc., is their fuel, sustainable economic development, and a high quality of life with a wise management of natural resources. And throughout, a participatory action is needed from the people of the cities. So basically, you can say that the city, which includes smart governance, smart energy, smart buildings, smart mobility, smart infrastructure, smart technology, smart healthcare, smart education, and smart citizens. So all those components are part of your smart city concept. So basically, when we are looking into this, a smart city, though it should have all these components into its functioning. So we can make a city smart if it is envisioned as smartly, governed smartly, planned smartly, developed smartly, built smartly, operated smartly, financed smartly with smart leadership, smart mobility, smart infrastructure services, and smart wastewater management. Waste management, basically, which will include both solid and wastewater. So urban planning is one of the major issues. We have say one of the lectures by one of the experts on, especially on urban planning. So the solutions which are already in place in any urban cities are the like your garden city, linear city, industrial city, vertical cities, compact cities, radiant cities. So we may say that concepts already defines a planned city, inclusive city, sustainable cities, green cities, intelligent cities, and smart cities. So basically all these cities. So basically we need to plan a city which will have a cleaner, greener, sustainable, and smart things into its management. For that, we need to have a smart vision, and for that smart vision for any city, that has to be defined first. After detailed study, we carry out the SWOT analysis, then look at the future potentials, adopt participatory approach using a consultative process, involve all the stakeholders, then create a think tank and involve intelligentsia of the city, build an existing strength, creating vision. Should be the vision whatever we are created, that should be achievable and realistic, and that is a continuous improvement process. Once you have achieved that, so you can improve your sort of a thing by including certain things. So at one go, basically it may not be possible like you achieve the all things. It is a continuous process, so we may achieve one thing first and then second thing first. So continuously we are improving our governing of the cities for that way. So So we have to go for smart planning. So where which will require relooking and rationalizing pattern of the city growth, and then changing options for the city planning, changing options for land use planning, rationalizing the approach to prepare master plans, development plans, and critically reviewing planning tools to make them more effective and efficient. So planning should be such that it is inclusive, flexible, and innovative, involving large number of professionals and experts to promote and enhance cities' economic sustainability, aesthetic, and culture. This should focus on regional planning with leverage to promote growth of both city and the region, evolving master plans, developing master plans, and energy conservation as the focus. Master plans not to freeze city for next 20 years. Basically, we should permit dynamic growth based on project to project approach. City planning supported by a group of experts involving people, stakeholders, making cities more compact, adopting shape, size of the cities, and then using mechanism of decentralizing and mixed land use. Whatever is preferable, we must look into that. Avoiding pure land use planning for one purpose. We should not have that thing. Okay, people going to one particular area for one particular thing. So that is not this thing. So it should be mixed. Adopting transit-oriented development and promoting size, like your development and all those. Should be the focus with should be okay between for population between 3 to 5 lakhs. You have many cities like green city of the world, Musaddar in Abu Dhabi, UAE. So it is a city with a population of 50,000. No cars, using green transport only. Working living area not further than 200 meters. Walking is that is preferable. Electricity powered light rail to permit your easy transport, inter-transport cities between this Musaddar and Abu Dhabi, using green energy, cool air from the sea to keep the buildings cool, high degree of recycling of water, almost 100% water is to be recycled, intra-city travel through personal rapid transit ports, running on magnetic tracks using electric powers. Aim is to create zero carbon, zero waste, zero car city. So generally, I think most of the problems are associated with your this transportation system only. Then this Tenajin in EcoCity in the China is also one of the smart cities being developed. So it is a joint effort between China and Singapore governments, located 40 kilometers from Tianjin city center and 150 from the Beijing city. Total area is 30 square kilometer. When completed, its population will be around 350,000 residents. Site again is comprised of the basically barren land, polluted water bodies, including a 2.6 kilometer large wasteland pond. And generally, it is an area with shortage of the drinking water. So the master plan has been developed, and that master plan basically will include this green transport system, both this public non-motorized modes of transport like your bicycle and walking. Then your city planned with extensive green cover and blue water networks to provide quality living and working environment. Green network comprised of green lung at the core and eco corridors emanating from the lung of the to the other parts of the city. Water bodies linked to enhanced ecology, provide attractive environment, recreation, a wastewater pond rehabilitated, transferred into a clean, beautiful lake. Means that okay, whatever the disadvantages that particular area are there, so those has been are being converted into a green system. So basically that here future cities, they can well be planned as a green city or as a smart cities, but existing cities we have also to improve, and then for them some sort of a planning is required. I think one of the best examples in the in our country is the Indore, where I think many of the issues are related to your transportation, related to your this water and solid waste management has been solved and are being solved, and some of the major improvements has taken place in these areas. So we have to go for the, as per the, I think we will come when we come into what are the, it's we already discussed, but when we come into the main this thing, what are the main missions of our smart cities? Under that, we have to plan our things accordingly to this thing. So so basically, this Tinanjan smart city is coming as a role model for the smart city, where you can see 90% trips made are the green trip, 60% of the waste is recycled, 100% barrier-free access is provided, 20% energy use is generated from renewable sources, 29% of water supplied is from the recycling, using low energy lights, making all building greens. Daily per capita water supply is not exceeding 120 liters, assured green spaces, and high proportion of technical manpower to promote planning and R&D has been provided in this. Then Chengdu is the another city in the this thing where I think 80,000 residents are living, and they are also being provided with this thing like movement within 50 minutes for every accessible place, reducing wastewater by 58%, 48% less energy to be saved, and operational efficiency is to be achieved through city design. Then one of the major components of our smart city are the smart buildings. Under these smart buildings, we may go for like which will comprise of the built environment, and so creating such sort of a buildings and cities. So where I think you will see that generally this built environment accounts for 16% of the world freshwater withdrawal, 25% of wood harvested, 30% of consumption of raw material, 50% of global energy consumption, 35% of CO2 emissions, 40% of municipal solid waste, 50% of ozone depleting things, and 30% of residents having sick building syndrome. So 50% of global warming is the outcome of the built environment only. Majority of the existing buildings have low concern with energy conservation. Considering the enormous quantity of built space to be added, the energy consumption implications can be critical. So basically, that is why we are focusing more on solar energy and all that. So building need to be designed with utmost care, consideration for the energy and sustainability. So basically, if you see that energy consumption pattern of the building, that is why each state now it has come with own energy efficiency code. Like Punjab has, I mean, Punjab and energy efficiency code. Tamil Nadu is having its own energy efficiency code. All the states, and I think since last 2 to 3 years, we are also conducting lots of many of the courses on developing, say, building the capacity building programs for this energy efficiency in our buildings. And many of the researchers are also working on this zero energy buildings. Particularly for each region, how to achieve the zero energy in particular building. So that is what you can see here. The energy pattern buildings is, it is buildings are the one of the highest consumers of the our energy. This thing. So basically, for that, to make our cities say sustainable smart cities, I think we need to design our building as a green buildings. So so basically, the green buildings generally include these 5 components. One is the site selection, in which site selection we are taking over natural topography of the area or natural vegetation, etc., say natural drainage, etc. we are not disturbing. Then second part is our say this energy efficiency. So we are trying to have energy efficiency either to passive or to active say control, either passive energy or control, I think, by suitable architectural design. So providing, allowing the entry when entry of the sun when it is required, and at the same time restricting the entry of the sun into our building if it is sun is not required. Then allowing the maximum light to enter into our house, but not the heat, basically, from that point of view. So we are so basically designing or providing the architecture feature into our building, and keeping, say, our orientation in such a way that your maximum advantage of sun path is taken control of. And similarly, like we are providing this in active this solar energy control, we are providing the solar panels. We are providing this some either earth cooling in a different way, So that way we are trying to control our energy efficiency into our building. Similarly, water efficiency also, I think even to go for this National Building Code 2016, so you will have to provide the dual plumbing system. Now NGT, wherever the new colony is coming, it is not, you are not allowed to throw any of your wastewater. Whatever the wastewater is generated, that has to be reused in that particular locality only, either with the dual plumbing system or for your say irrigation of your say green areas, etc. So we have to think in that way. Energy efficiency has to be achieved in that way, water efficiency, and then your material efficiency during construction. So whenever we are building the construction, we are trying to see that, okay, if it is cement, it is again a cement made with the some waste material like your PPC. If it is a some bricks, fly ash bricks, where we are using the fly ash again, and then we are using those materials which basically which are give you a better insulation. So that with that particular thing in mind, I think we are achieving this construction of building, and then taking control of indoor air quality also, because indoor air quality affects not only outdoor. I think we are inside, we feel ourselves secure, but if you measure your indoor air quality also, level also, so that is also sometimes very, very poor, because we are cooking inside and all that also. So there also we need to provide the proper ventilation, so that whatever the fresh air is coming and whatever the our poor quality air is, that is going into the out of the house. So so there's here all these factors, I think, has been found this thing. So basically that is what the benefit of the green buildings will be if we are constructing under smart city. Is the energy use is around 25 to 50% gets reduced, CO2 emission up to 40% gets reduced, water use again 40% water can be reused, and solid waste management again 70% is to be recycled and reused. So these are the I think whatever the things I have explained, your energy efficiency, like ceiling height, your fenestration, your openings, window openings, your projections, etc., has to be planned. So this is the like a sun pipe. One of the things we have been shown is the, so if you want the sun to enter, sunlight, so basically you provide a pipe through that sun is entering into your building. And these are the one, I think one of the building in CSI, it has been designed in that way that, okay, if it is a evening time, you get the direct sunlight into your inside the building also. Water harvest, water this thing. So these are the things basically. So water management, we have to take into our consideration that, okay, whatever the water, I think we are going towards zero discharge, this thing. So I think whatever the water we are using, so same water, it is not being allowed to thrown into any open or any sewerage also, existing sewerage. NGT is very clear that, okay, if you are generating water, this thing, so that water should be taken care at the source itself. So have a treatment plant and recirculate it for your non-potable uses. So again, in the cities, one of the issues is the leakages. Generally 30% leakages have been reported, and to some areas in some cities you can say 40 to 70% losses goes up to this thing. So, and in our most of the industrial and most of the sewage water is being thrown without treatment, which often pollutes the usable water supply also. So if we use the water supply wisely, it can make a big difference. And so we have to adopt the integrated approach to assess the existing water sources, then opportunities for reducing water demand, and alternative water supply sources. So that can be achieved by installing efficient plumbing fixtures, using non-potable water, installing sub-meters, choosing locally adopted plants, using some sorts of plants which require less water for their growth. So and then all those things, I think and then selecting the efficient irrigation technologies also. So these are just basically plants which require less amount of water for their growth, particularly in that region where water availability is less. We can select those plants and you can basically grow them and use them basically for the purpose. Use of water efficient WCs. I think no 10 liter, and this is again a very common sort of a low flush system. Up to 6 liters have been designed, and ultimately, I think the aim is to create the waterless toilets. I think that is the one we can go for this thing. Again, the urinal, your faucets, your shower heads, etc. I think the atomizers we provide in our taps, etc. So they control the flow of the water. They basically discharge is less, but at the same time with higher velocities, they throw it. So they have been basically one of the bigger sort of a thing. So water efficiency has to be achieved basically into this thing. So that is what it shows, that even also like your electricity things are say star rated. I think our water consumption things should also be star rated. So we have to achieve the water efficiency through use in the buildings, the use of low flush toilets, waterless urinals, sensors that controls the taps or wash basin, water consumption system to minimize the wastewater. So basically the recycling is one of the major thing in any of the buildings. So I think the dual plumbing system, which is, I said, NBCC has made it very common. Then intelligent buildings is one of the things basically which we are looking for under this smart city concept, because we want to have the buildings which give more for the occupants and which can be operated efficiently. Basically, I think this is the one in which building, fabric, space, services, and information system respond in an efficient manner. So generally, this intelligent buildings aimed at reducing the operational cost, optimizing energy use, improving employees' productivity, ensuring better returns, providing highest degree of safety, optimizing resources, optimizing indoor environment, and optimizing high degree of sustainability, and minimizing adverse environmental effect. So these buildings basically can be basically the things which are basically made from this information technology, maximizing economic in buildings, and and minimizing maintenance. So basically we have to bring innovation in building design which go with the nature, use integration or new technology, like if you say IoT system in building, if you are entering into a building, you have a sensors placed in our water water outlets, then in your say switches, etc. So nowadays we are getting those sort of thing. Okay, once you go out, so automatically the this go to that sort of things has to be made into our structure. Similarly, so basically that thing has to be made. So and we have to think into this thing that a building should be safe, good working area, and creates sustainable, productive buildings. So this is what you need to have: the smart streets, smart heating cooling system, and a smart management of your waste food, smart management of your workspaces. Building skin should be such that whenever you want the light to enter, it should allow the light to enter. When you want heat to enter, it should allow the heat to enter. It should be solar powered. Okay. And then some green areas can also be included into our building, so that so that way basically the buildings are to be intelligent buildings are to be designed. And this is the one particular building in China which was completed in 2011, and it has basically solar panels, photovoltaic cells, wind turbines, daylight harvesting system, double skin curtain walls, and chilled ceiling water, and underfloor ventilation. So all these are the feature of this intelligent building. So this is a zero energy building, basically into net zero energy building, which has been created into this thing. This is the Godrej building in which was the first green building in India. It is a platinum rating building. So this is a Empire State Building in New York. Again, it is a say green building. So buildings gives you a sort of one component of a smart city. So our buildings need to be designed in a smarter way, smart buildings, and that is what basically, so that the people who are living in, who are working, or who are the habitants of those buildings, they should feel comfortable. They should be and feel that okay, they are staying in a good smart city. So that I think you cannot ignore our buildings. So our buildings have to be made designed to be as a smart buildings. Then next particular issue is the smart mobility transportation system. I think our most of the cities are worst affected because of this traffic congestion. There is a large mismatch between vehicle population and road capacity. Our motor vehicle growth, even you talk about Chandigarh also. So Chandigarh, it has a very well connected network of roads. There are main roads, and we have the interconnecting sector roads there also. But the population of growth is not that much. But yes, the vehicle density is one of the highest in the country. I think every there is a there is a 3 vehicle for per family, basically you can say in that city at least. And so those say these roads, about 10 years back or 15 years back, it seemed that okay, we have a very large and big roads and wide roads. But now if you move on these roads also, the time taken to travel on these roads earlier, 5 years back, almost it was 10 minutes to go from one end to other end of the city. But now you require more than half an hour at least to travel from one end. It may take minimum half an hour, but it may take up to 1 hour sometimes also if you're traveling from one end to other end because of the traffic road. So traffic is one of the bigger areas in any cities. And so population growth is again very high. And then the basically this greenhouse gas emission is mainly from transportation and building sector only. So and we are removing this pedestrian, bicycle, etc. So travel is again becoming risky. Lot of accidents are taking place. Till date, we are saying that okay, people who die because of road accidents are many times more than who have died because of this corona disease. So so that is what that vehicular congestion and traffic jams are becoming order of the day. So basically, in smart city, this is one of the issues. But in Indian city contrast, we can say that major issues concerning are the heterogeneous traffic. You get cart also, horse cart also till now. Increasing individual vehicle ownership. अपनी कार लेके सारे लोग निकलते हैं. Low road capacity, poor road geometry, large obsolete vehicular population. We are still not able to say remove our 15-year-old vehicle. Inefficient and inadequate public transportation. High degree of environment pollution, low priority for traffic planning, low priority to bicycle and pedestrians. I think maybe if you taking your in your city, you find that for the pedestrians, how many say we have provided the pedestrian parts, at how many areas we have provided bridges for the pedestrian to cross over. So it's a very poor state. Poor traffic management, mismatch between vehicle density and road capacity, multiplicity of the agency involved, lot of agencies are involved in this thing, absence of United Traffic Regulatory Authority, acute problem of parking, and high rates of accidents, etc. are one of those things. So for this, we need to redefine urban planning. We need to change our approach to planning for people and not for the vehicles. We need to redefine shape and size of the cities, making cities compact to reduce travel demand and trip length. We must prioritize whether we want to give priority to pedestrian or cyclist, public transport or private cars, making public transport equitable, reliable, affordable, safe and comfortable, and efficient, user-friendly. If you go to any say European country, you will find that okay, if you travel by your own car, so you will get a lot of taxis are there. Basically, parking is very high if you are entering in a particular area. So automatically, basically, if you are entering, no need of any barriers and all that. Once you enter that area from your bank, automatically that money will be taken out. So travel by own car is very expensive in such cities and such areas. So so there the public transport is one of the viable things. Here the thing is very difficult. Our public transport system is not comfortable, not reliable, and so that way basically we need to improve. Until unless we make our cities, our transport system smart, we will not be able to make our cities smarter. So that is what we have to think, that how to equitable allocate the road space, road pricing, as I said, creating public awareness, involving community stakeholders, promoting innovations through R&D, and registration of the old vehicles, and establishing effective regulatory enforcement mechanism is required under smart transportation system. Then we need to promote the use of bicycles, most inexpensive and flexible, environment friendly, zero pollution, zero energy vehicle, occupying minimum road space, minimum parking space, promoting national economy, promoting human health, reducing depletion of non-renewable resources, and best option for traveling over shorter distances. I think the concept of sharing bicycle, etc., was very common. Is very common in the European countries or in developed countries, but here in India, few of the cities they have introduced this concept, but it is not otherwise available in major cities. So if you compare this city of Singapore, so it has a very good road efficiency, reduced lesser road congestion. Carpooling and public transport is very good, generating resources for city infrastructure by high-tech road pricing. So road, I think if we have to pay for our parking like our this thing, so we curse that, okay, parking is very high. So that way basically it is the Singapore and other countries are basically having they have made these things very highly priced. So Delhi through its metro has achieved milestone of transporting 2.8 million people on a single day with a target of 6 million. So it has reduced the road congestion, air pollution, and carbon contents, increasing road efficiency, making mega city much cleaner and greener. Again, the Ahmedabad BRTC reinvented, revolutionized the city road traffic. In Istanbul, used 42 kilometers dedicated road lanes for the new bus rapid transport system to promote public transport, tackle the problem of traffic congestion, air pollution, etc. This is the separate bike lanes. So basically, we have to redefine approach to public transportation, promote public transportation. It will require the good public transport network, improved passenger information system, using intelligent transport system for monitoring and control, providing affordable tickets, single ticket for use, basically one day this thing. So now I think after Corona, this thing they have introduced that the one card which is valid for your bus, for the buses also, and for the metro also. So that way basically if you are traveling to any outside country, you will find that, okay, you carry one particular pass only. There is no person to give you a ticket, basically. Okay, it is a sensor is there. Once you enter into the driver's side, put your card there. If you don't have a card, if you want to pay your money, so you are not allowed to enter into the bus. You cannot travel by bus then. And so that way basically they have made the systems like that only there also. So this is what equitable allocation of the road space we have to ensure in smart cities. Lane driving is again one of the major problems in our cities. If we have a lanes, I think people don't move in their lanes, and but definitely I think if we are to decongest and we have to provide a good transport system, we provide the separate lanes for separate type of vehicle. I think that is what road pricing is to be increased. That is what has happened in many of the cities. Then there is a role of smart technologies in smart cities. These smart technologies will make the cities intelligent, user-friendly, supportive, of higher order of productivity, and give you a better quality of life. And these are to be included, like you are maybe you have to think of use of innovative smart technology to promote the operational efficiency, economy efficiency, delivery, and high degree of urban governance. I think many of times now, many of the things we need not go to the to some office. I think sitting at your office, like in Chandigarh, if we want to get my say driving license or get the new driving license, or if it has expired, it is to be updated. I think I simply download the things, apply on the your this thing, and I will get a time and collect my things. So that way we have reduced basically on a governance point of view also we are doing that also. So many of the things now we apply, so there is a time limit for that. You get the answer and you get some result for your this thing. So all those things are basically, I think the application of the information communication technology is very important in our making the city smart, because these technologies provide you good governance, bring transparency in decision making. They involve communities, residents in planning and decision making, bridge gap between people's aspiration and administrative decision making, rationalize traffic transportation and reduce the congestion, create awareness among road users and reduce pollution and greenhouse gas emission. So these technologies has to be this thing. So so basically we have to generate data regarding city growth, its development say angle, then operational for planning and rational decision making. So we have to integrate various departments within the organization, create interactive portals to provide information, promote connectivity with people for redressing their grievances, and dimming switches, street lights automatically to save 30% of the energy cost, using cameras at cross sections to optimize traffic lights, cut traffic times during the air pollution and cost of tackling it, sharing data suggesting best bus route for journey in the city, then using one map on online portal, enabling government, business organization and residents to access geospatial data, using digital applications to register concern about streets that require cleaning and portables, potholes needing this thing. So that way basically we have to think of this thing. Then another thing is the smart landscaping. So we have to give provide the a good vegetation and nature features in our cities, and this vegetation this will include all those smart this thing. The vegetation in terms of location, type, size, diameter, height, etc. should be well planned. So basically landscaping with respect to where the shading is required, it lowers daytime temperature, controls humidity, reduces heat emission during night, and provide a good balance for the night temperature also. During precipitation, lot of free water is absorbed. During dry periods, water is evaporated. So that is the advantage of having the this thing. Green areas, they filter air up to 80% of the pollutants, reduce noise levels up to 12 decibels. 50 to 100 meter thick vegetable cover reduces air temperature up to 3.5 degrees centigrade. So we have to green the cities through strategic plantation, massive plantation, extensive landscaping, and developing city forest. Landscapes helps in lowering overall temperature and bringing climate close to comfort zone with energy requirements going down. So basically a shade can provide you about 2 to 2.5 degree temperature lower. Use of trees, particular type of trees can control the entry of the heat into the building. These trees in particular region are preferred, like in summer they are preferred in that particular area because they control the entry of the sun into your building. So we have to plant tree. Again, you can see this here. Either if you want to plant tree, so in summer we want the sun to be restricted, so we have a grown up tree, but in winter we allow these trees, they shed their the leaves and allow the sun to enter, or we trim them in that way so that sun entry is allowed. So that way basically we have to think our this thing. So basically the sustainable landscaping is to be promoted using native species which by particular plants which require less water, enhancing biodiversity, water saving, energy consumption, etc. Basically, all these things, as you explained, can be achieved by having a proper type of plants into our buildings. This is the one. So the another thing goes in the smart city is the smart quality leadership. So basically, these cities will require well-defined city ownership, urban ULBs, well-defined city leadership, building a high-performance team, adopting professional management approach, promoting training and development, investing in learning, creating culture of accountability, securing stakeholder consensus, launching some pilot programs, prioritizing or defining agenda for the city growth. Each city to have starting point. Mayors of like New York, Washington, etc. They have created a highest degree of urban leadership governance to make the cities smart. So the smart cities, global smart cities, a few of the examples are the Copenhagen, New York, Washington, Zurich, San Francisco, Barcelona, Hong Kong, Singapore, Amsterdam, Stockholm, Chicago, Boston, Santa Cruz, and Rio de Janeiro. So most of these are the cities you can see that, okay. So the features, basically few of the cities are basically this Copenhagen is ranked most sustainable city in the Europe by using, because they have used the green infrastructure. They have achieved a high degree of green energy efficiency, promoting centralized heating using waste energy from the electricity generation, planning public transport network to ensure all the residents live within walking distance of 400 meters only, creating sustainable energy network and low emission transport system, laying 388 kilometers dedicated cycling network to ensure 50% daily trips are made by the bicycles, optimizing water by bringing leakage wastage at 5% as prevailing 20%, spreading organic, inorganic waste and producing biogas and bioethanol for centralized heating, promoting carbon neutral neighborhood with energy efficient residents and commercial buildings, or green buildings, you can say. Similarly, in New York, so this is so they have implemented energy building code. Most of the buildings they conform to LEED certification. They are retrofitting many of the buildings into the green buildings, and and electricity load again has been reduced, greenhouse emission has been reduced, and particularly with this thing, so payback Peter was about 3.5 years only. Zurich and this Seattle, basically San Francisco, you will see that they have solved the problem of solid waste management by imposing cost based on the volume of the waste generated. So the city of Seattle, it has settled to a goal of zero waste to landfills. So San Francisco, they use the regulation to ensure composting. Construction companies required to recycle, reuse at least 65% waste at the building site only. So no, even in our cities also, these C&D plants are being installed. So whatever the demolition, whatever the waste are there, they can go through whatever the recyclable material is available from them. I think we are using them for our this thing. Even Chandigarh is having the C&D plants. So what they are making is they are making pure block out of that. So all the pure blocks are being produced here and with the recycled or with the recyclable material at the site. Even bricks are being produced from that point of view. Then in the particular this Hong Kong, Singapore, San Francisco, affordable housing. So they have been basically utilized. So Hong Kong created affordable housing to minimize slump, creating shelter to people, achieved by imposing precondition to create affordable housing before prompting developers to build commercial properties. So you have to provide them. So providing subsidized housing to 80% residents by the Singapore government, involving private sector on partnership basis to transfer 2,500 distressed public housing into thriving mixed group listing. So that is what the people have. In future cities, if we are trying, so basically we are looking forward that okay, these are to be they will include the high-rise building because they have the enormous capacity to create large volume of built space, sparing large ground space for the non-urban uses. provide optimal solutions for hosting large population activities using minimum area, make cities more compact, reduce need of long travels, offer opportunities for pedestrian for providing the some facilities to the pedestrians, make cities more human and eco-friendly, create well-lit and close communities, provide workspace and amenities within and near the building to reduce travel within the cities. So high-rise buildings connected by efficient means of mass transport minimize use of personalized vehicles, and cities would look more green, open, and eco-friendly. This is again a one this thing. I think this is the one area in the urban cities. I think this is a one sort of a building which it has got each and everything. It has a cinema theater, it has a grain market, it has a school, it has office. So one particular building almost provides everything into, so need not travel out for anything, this thing for your needs and all. So this is one particular type of a building that is being designed as a future tower for where I think all our things will get included. This is in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, I think. So the tower have 275 floors. Each has offices, lobbies, 5-star hotels, residential buildings, areas, retail facilities, energy generation is alternative, and so Indian context of smart city, we may say that, okay, smart city mission objective is to promote cities that provide core infrastructures, give a decent quality of life to its citizens, promote clean and sustainable environment, ensure application of smart solutions for governance, focus on sustainable and inclusive development, promote compact area, create replicable model for other aspiring cities in various regions and parts of the this thing. So basically, with that, this thing, the mission is to cover about 100 cities. So the 48,000 crores over 5 years at rupees 100 crore per city per year is to be provided. Though it may seem little less, but yes, at least that is why you cannot achieve everything in one go. So duration is 5 years, but now it will get delayed because of the corona and all also. So mission will continue based on the evaluation by Ministry of Urban Development and this thing. So this core infrastructure in smart city will include adequate water supply. As in morning, the focus is on having 24-hour water supply. Assured electricity supply also. Again, this water supply system will be designed basically SCADA based. So so all the monitoring will be done sitting in a one single room only. So what you have is wherever the leakage is there, wherever any problem is there, so on our screen you will get that data, and you will be able to pinpoint that, okay, in this particular location and the problem is there, and this consumption is more. So most of the I think that way this water supply will be designed. Then assured electricity supply, so no switching off electric power. So green energy, this thing will be applied. Maximum use of solar energy, and they already target. When Chandigarh is having that target of say meeting its almost 30% needs of electricity through solar energy only. And I think as per the ECBC code or for applicable in Chandigarh, any residential area more than 500 square yards is to be provided with these solar panels. No completion certificate will be given if you don't have a solar panel in order also. So that way, basically, then good sanitation. Indore is the best example of this particular thing. How they have managed their solid waste, I think that is one good example. But other cities are also following to provide the good. Then efficient urban mobility and public transport system. I think morning, I don't know whether he said or he was, Chandigarh is city is going to have about 100 electrical buses very soon. So they will be provided and they will be very comfortable. Nowadays, under this the Atal Bihari, that urban mission, what our Junuram earlier, now it is under that. So they have they are giving a lot of facilities, and we will say that the buses, if you go to our this thing, so most of the buses are the AC buses and all that for public transport system also. So that way, our then roads are being redesigned. We are even many of the installation in Chandigarh, this speed limits has been fixed, and the meters have been installed on the road. So automatically, if you are crossing the speed limit, you will get the challan in your home, and all the things are being monitored through this. So again, affordable housing also, especially for the poor, because slums are the areas which are basically slur on our the smart cities and all that. So basically, we have to provide some affordable housing to the people living here also. Robust IT connectivity and digitization, as I said, in your road network, your monitoring of the roads, your monitoring of this thing is coming through this IT connectivity. Good governance, e-governance, and citizen participation. So most of the things, I think, are being made into the, if you have to get any license, if you have to get any sort of your registration certificate or some other certificate, so all these things are through e-portal only. Sustainable environment is being this thing, so water efficiency, energy efficiency being achieved. Then safety and security of citizens, particularly women, children, and elderly is very important. So again, if we are having the proper monitoring, proper policing, etc., so we can control them also. Then health and education is again one of the sectors, basically. That is one. So our city mission will also include the city improvement. It is retrofitting, city renewal, redevelopment, city extension, new areas if you are coming, so they are the green areas. Pan city initiatives, like most of the smart solutions which cover larger part of the cities. Retrofitting will be achieved, will be making the existing area of 500 acres more efficient, livable. Redevelopment, replacing existing built up area more than 500 acres with enhanced infrastructure using mixed land use, increased density. Greenfield development, introducing smart solutions in vacant area using innovative planning, financing, and implementation. Pan city, application of smart solutions to existing citywide infrastructure, use of technology, information, and data to make infrastructure sources better, intelligent traffic management system, wastewater recycling, smart metering, etc. So all those components are being implemented as a smart city solutions. So e-governance means public information, grievance redressal, electronic service delivery, citizen engagement, cities eyes and citizens, video crime monitoring, etc. is again through this thing. Waste management, the projects with waste to energy and fuel, waste to compost, wastewater to be treated, recycling and reduction of C&D waste, all these things are to be part of this thing. Water management is smart material management, leakage identification, prevention maintenance, and water quality monitoring. Energy management again will include smart material management, renewable sources of energy, energy efficient and green buildings. Urban mobility is the urban parking, intelligent traffic management, and integrated multimodal transportation. Others will include like telemedicine and tele-education, incubation, trade facilities, cameras, skill development centers, etc. coming under this thing. So basically that this particular model which government is adopting, the mixed land use model, it promotes housing and inclusiveness, expand housing opportunities for all, creating walkable localities like reduce congestion, air pollution, resources with the same, preserving and developing open spaces which will reduce urban heat effects, promote eco-balance, promoting a variety transport option, transit-oriented development, making governance citizen-friendly and cost-effective, applying smart solution to infrastructure and services. So Swachh Bharat is the one that Smart India is being covered. The first 20 basically issues are the Bhubaneswar, Pune, Jaipur, Surat, Kochi, Ahmedabad, Jabalpur, Visakhapatnam, Solapur, Devangri, Indore, New Delhi, Coimbatore, Kakinada, Belgavi, Udaipur, Guwahati, Chennai, Ludhiana, and Bhopal. Afterwards, basically, a lot of many cities have been added. Like as I said, ultimately the aim is to have about 100 cities. So we can say that from the smart cities, it will create ownership of the city, create quality leadership, generate realistic vision for the city available strength, state of art planning, development and management, generating resources beyond normal budgeting process, taking pilot projects, creating IT network city for ease of doing business, providing efficiency in service delivery, making cities to compact, human, reordering transportation, and cities buildings planned by using natural elements. Then water, your land use, your decentralization of the facilities, then planning tools for energy efficiency, water efficiency, making optimum use of ITs, and making sustainability as a way of thinking, a way of planning are the one of the issues basically which we are looking into our any city. So any radiant city is that basically that okay where the working is good, living is good, it provides a good circulation area, and jobs are also provided like this. So all those things are so basically the mission is to is the service of mankind so that it lives comfortably, it gets a work comfortably, it is basically cultivate the body and the spirit, it should it is to travel about, and basically we have to achieve these things into our this thing. So, so search for the smart cities will continue the greatest challenges to the professional administrative body. So that is what coming to this thing. Though that now we understand that what is smart. So smart city means that smart manufacturing, smart government, and mobility through Wi-Fi, then smart your citizens through because they are using the digital technology, they are using ICT, smart data analysis, and smart health services. We have a basically one program, one presentation of health services also. How to make recently, I think PGI in Chandigarh they have made one block, particularly which is called as the smart, which is called as the smart city basically. Uh, which is basically called the smart block basically. So they have all the online data available. So your samples of your say blood sample or all those samples for testing are going online, and the report is coming online. And that way they have managed basically all the things in this way. So I think that is a good presentation on that. So once we say that, okay, we have Government of India has identified 8 key features of a smart city. That is smart governance, smart energy, smart building, smart mobility, smart infrastructure, smart technology, smart healthcare, and smart citizen. So this is basically there is not a one definition of a smart city. There is no endpoint, but it is a continuous process which is carried out to make the cities livable and resilient, and so that they are able to respond more quickly to the new challenges. So the we'll say that city becomes smart through innovative economy, providing good infrastructure and good governance also. In innovative economy will include innovation in industries, clusters, and districts of the cities, knowledge workforce, education and employment, creation of knowledge intensive companies, IT companies you can say, and artificial intelligence companies. Then infrastructure will include your transport, energy, utilities, and protection of environment. Governance include your like good administration to provide services to the citizen, participatory and direct democracy, and services to the citizen with respect to quality of life. So that is what we are looking into our smart cities. So smart city framework will include the technology framework, human framework, institution framework, energy framework, and data management framework. So you would have all those things like in your this thing if you are looking into a so there is some criticism also like to the smart cities because generally it is an industry driven biased approach. Basically it ignores alternative avenues, deaden and stupefy citizens. So basically we become accustomed like with mobile icon you can say okay if you are using calculator, So you don't apply your brain basically at that time calculation. You simply go to your mobile, open your calculator. To if you have to do for 2 plus 2, also you will say put it on the mobile this thing and see your thing. So that is why basically it makes you that way some sort of a not a responsive type of a city. When you have a very predictive surveillance and policing, okay, everybody knows here camera is installed, I should be this thing, here camera is not installed. So basically some predictive things become, people become lethargic and all that also way. So it is a technological centric and not the people centric. That is also, I think, whether people know the use of technology or not. So many of us also not aware of, reluctant to use that technology. So that way basically it is so may worsen inequality and marginalization of the no income countries. That is what may happen. And so basically I think once we are looking into our this thing, you can study generally if it is a contact mode, we form 3-4 groups together of the persons. Like these are the we give them, and the particular cities go to their sites, collect information what they have included into, like Paris in France, Reykjavik in Iceland, Singapore in Singapore, Stockholm, and the Sangoda in South Korea, Amsterdam, Netherlands, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, China, and New York, USA. So what are the basically significant they have done in these cities to make these cities as a smart cities? So if you can, I think now we are almost 20% in the group. So these are the, okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to each group, to each persons can take, and they can basically get the information about cities. And maybe on the last days for you get the opportunity to present about say 4 to 5 minutes about these particular cities. If you can do that, I think we can plan basically. So you can make the PPT with this so seeing that, okay, keeping in mind that what sort of people are there, what are the processes, what is the technology used, and what are the essential this thing through ICT what they have done. So how information technology, communication technology has been utilized. So we have discussed this. Okay, first is the what is the definition? There is no one definition. So the core infrastructure elements are the adequate water supply, assured electricity, sanitation, including solid waste management, efficient urban mobility and public transport, affordable housing, robust IT connectivity and digitalization, good governance, safety and security of citizens, health and education. So that is what that under this thing you can see the redevelopment projects may include city renewal, old slum areas, core city areas, and cities which are having the areas about more than 50 acres. In northeast state it is 25 acres. Retrofitting projects, city movement, local area planning, 24 to 24 by 7 water supply, greenfield projects like city getting sanctioned, satellite towns, integrated township. This minimum area is 250 acres. For northeast city areas, almost it is 50% of that. So citywide smart solutions, at least one should be there: electronic service delivery, intelligent traffic management, smart metering and management, integrated multimode transport system, video crowding monitoring. So all those things. So this area-based development, this is the pan city development. So all those things should be included into our smart city proposal and all that. Also, once we are sitting there, so under smart cities, there is some amount of investment is 2.05 lakh crore, which has been listing. So 20 to a total 100 in the round 400 smart cities have been selected. Period of selection has been started from say January to 16 to 18. Number of projects they have been allotted into different rounds, and investment has been made into all these rounds. And basically you can see that this is the one particular thing. This is basically that things which are going to be used in the depending on the number of months. I think we were to come close by this year end, but now this year has gone. There was some delay also, so this will be revised again, and we have to achieve these milestones. into our achievement. This thing, the project completion is the last one basically, where I think we want to we have to be here by this time. So for implementation, we are looking into ease of living, smart governance, and connected like your walkable streets, parks, waterfronts, okay, good control centers, then smart schools, health and art and culture, then your like infrastructure wise, solar and wind energy, water and wastewater, vastu energy. So this is what urban mobility. This is a Bhopal smart city developed into this BRTC system. You can see that separate lane for the cyclist, separate lane for this thing, buses and all that has been provided. And so basically it is a street redesign, complete streets, junction and improvement, public bike sharing, public transport, parking management, multimodal transit hub and e-mobility. This is the cycle friendly tags basically in Pune. They have been provided. So roads are safer. Before this thing, no cycles. After this, the cycling has been provided. So Bangalore's also, you can see that the improvement has taken place. So upgradation of the Church Street in that particular Bangalore area. And Bhubaneswar city. So cycling path and this bus shelters and good roads have been provided. Okay. This is the basically Coimbatore, and this is your Pune bike public sharing. So basically that is that this type of initiative has led to decongestion of the roads, non-polluting mode of transportation and healthier way of traveling. Public transport, Bhubaneswar, their bus service has been provided, and Vadodara also multimodal transit hub has been provided, where all the activities are being controlled and visualized. Smart parking, even multi-level parking at many places has been provided, where you enter and I think like you get a slip. So if you 4 hour, 8 hour, so depending upon that you are charged, and basically you get a good sort of facilities for parking a vehicle. Electrical mobility, most of the areas they are giving this thing, and I think within another 4 or 5 years, I think we will be shifting from fossil fuel to particularly in transport area to the electrical vehicles. Affordable housing, I think one of the issue which is Amit is going to discuss in the afternoon will be the that affordable housings with respect to earthquake retrofitting. So these are the things which we need to provide. Water and sanitation, water supply and sanitation is included, to be included, and this is the SCADA based system, particularly in Ahmedabad, has been utilized to this thing. This is the Bhopal, all the water tanks. Even we have carried out testing of this water tanks, old water tanks, almost 40 to 70-year-olds, for their rehabilitation. So we have carried out their non-circuit testing by this thing, and for that we are basically and then they will be what can be rehabilitated, so they are to be rehabilitated and given a good look, and other not in a good condition will be demolished and reconstructed again. This is the smart water. Morning he was talking about this ATM, water ATM. I think in many locations this concept is also coming up. This is the toilets. I think in many of this thing we are providing this smart toilets also at many of the locations. This is regarding safety and security. We have installed cameras, high resolution cameras at many places. So this surveillance is done through CCTV. So you have a panic button call, emergency call box, etc. There are also, so that whenever you get any sort of don't need any assistance, people can this thing. This is what the same thing. So e-monitoring of the vehicles, speed can be controlled, other violations can be controlled. That is the thing. Then another thing is to create the vibrant public spaces, waterfronts, public roads. This is the Visakhapatnam basically. There they have created such type of a thing. This is the Warangal. This is the Ajmer basically area, the Foysagar, this thing. So there they have created this sort of a good infrastructure so that people can enjoy.
So I think some network issues there. So in the meantime, I would like to ask the participants whether you need to have 5 or 10 minutes break, or whether we can start with our next session. That is practically kind of a thing, that how the practically you can have the smart housing concept and technological innovation. So I would like to hear from the participants that after this lecture, do you want to have 10 minutes break, or can we start directly? Anybody can unmute. Ji, Mr. Vasanta, can we start directly, or can?
I think.
हाँ सर, now you can present your screen, sir. अभी आ रही है आपकी आवाज.
स्क्रीन आ रही है अभी? स्क्रीन आ रही है?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, आवाज आ रही है सर. स्क्रीन आप शेयर नहीं हुआ होगा, स्क्रीन शेयर कर दीजिए.
दोबारा करना पड़ेगा. ओके. सर आ रही है स्क्रीन आपकी?
हाँ सर, स्क्रीन आ रही है, फुल स्क्रीन कर दीजिए.
एक मिनट वहीं से चलूँ ना, नहीं तो फिर वो हो जाएगा. This is okay now?
Yes, sir.
So we were talking about the different examples of smart cities and what are the activities that have been taken. So this is what I think we were here only. So this is a waterfront in the Warangal, in the Ajmer, waterfront development in particular area like your Indore, etc. And then we have this integrated area development, Bhopal. This is the Pune example where they have taken the development of the open areas, murals, etc. They have been done. Then this is what the control centers they have been planned and developed at particular areas. Visakhapatnam, Bhopal. Can have a look of this thing. Vadodara, Rajkot. So all basically that control center they have been collected there. So then that is what card I was talking about. This is the single card. Basically in the Ahmedabad they have developed this type of a card. So this card can be utilized in or any public transport areas. This is Ahmedabad rapid transport system, which is again given a sort of a provided a good sort of a decongestion to your roads and provided a good facility to the residents, particularly with respect to the movement. And no, this is very popular there. People are using this thing. Then smart classrooms like Kakinada in the Andhra Pradesh, most probably Visakhapatnam and New Delhi also. These smart classrooms have been developed, and I think now we are in this Corona period. We are now getting the feel of this classroom also. Particularly our school children are also basically they are. I think we are using this technology again to conduct the program. to your this thing. Then skill development is again one of the areas under this smart mission, where we are providing this. So basically, this in Pune Lighthouse Empower and Underprivileged Social, we are conducting program of solar energy, ETP operations, then clean technologies, etc. For the benefit of that students under, which is being funded by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. We're conducting these programs as DST. This program is we are conducting other also. So they are also we are providing these programs are conducted with the aim to upgrade the skill in the area of say installation and maintenance of solar panels, installation and maintenance of your ETPs, and then applying the clean technologies into the industry units. So different areas have been. This is economic development also, like small. I think Amit will say that okay, they have a go of a CDPT scheme, which is now under Skill University, but earlier I think in polytechnics it was very common, and to provide the skill to the local level. This is that public art. I think particularly if you travel to Pune, you will find that this type of a system is very they have been made and all that also. And then built heritage is also one of the areas where I think is covered under this smart city mission. I think if you want to project this is the solar energy, you can have one program depending on this is the waste to energy plants, the smart city concept. So basically some of the key outcomes you can say, particularly in the traffic challans. So traffic challans, they have got reduced by 65%. Smart classrooms have been basically generated, and more access and benefit have been provided to the students. Then some parks have been created. Then your transport system with GPS, etc., has been provided, and which has basically given a good sort of a thing in different cities, like I can say Vadodara, Visakhapatnam, New Delhi, Rajkot, then Ahmedabad, free Wi-Fi on BRTS, etc., zero tolerance, and a public bike sharing in Coimbatore is very popular. Then Nagpur also. About 360 cameras, 3,600 cameras have been installed in many places, and that is what in Jabalpur also they have put this energy plant connected to this. So this is the thing. अभी 5 मिनट बात करना है. हाँ 5. हाँ अच्छा, अभी मैं तेरा लेक्चर में बाद में बात करना. Timeless and mission period. This is the basically you can say that 2020 is the target period basically, but I think now it will go a little ahead. I think in many of the location, many of the this thing they have started a little late, but many initiatives are being taken. And this is the basically with the projects we have been tendered, and I think you can last few months before Corona period, you can see that there is about 346% increase in that in the tendering process. See, 431 increase in the projects grounded, then 527% increase in the projects completed. So that way, basically, fund dispersal is also improving, rising day by day. Now what is happening? So the key sectors, basically, you can see that where the funds are solid waste management, social sectors, stormwater management, environment, complete streets, wastewater sewerage, water supply, affordable housing, energy, ICT solutions, economic development, urban mobility, area development. You can see that fund allocation wise also this particular slide is showing. So that is what I said that okay, we can I think at the end of the program, if you can make your groups research your global smart cities, maybe you can bring your, I think one can select smart city Amsterdam, other can select New York and something, who can bring and basically try to find out what is the best and the most wasteful innovation in that particular thing and most replicable for our cities can be done. So that is what basically you can think of your this thing. So here I think if you people are nearby, I think 2 people can join. But my only thing is, okay, whatever you can get information, I think make a presentation on last day of the program. So with this, I think I will like to stop, and maybe we can go for discussion, or you can leave it, because all these aspects are going to be covered in detail afterwards, after the session.
So, participants, do you have any query? So you can ask. You can unmute your mic and you can ask if you are having any query. Do you have any query? Uh,
I think this is
so
a
I
very good.
think thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, for explaining the different aspects of smart city. So I think we are having had all explanatory lectures related to all the fields. So we have invited different experts on each and every field separately. So definitely you will listen to other experts also in days to come in this 5 days program. So thank you, Dr. Sharma. And now I would like to request participant if you want to have 5 to 10 minutes break, or can we start with our next presentation on interlinked block masonry system. So that is a basically a technological innovation as far as this sustainable and smart city development is concerned. So can we start with the lecture, or you want to go for 5 to 10 minutes break? So anybody can, you can unmute your mic, or you can. So do you want break? Okay, so we are having 10 minutes break, and we'll start sharp at this is 3:35. So we'll start at 3:45 after 10 minutes break. After 10 minutes break, right? So we'll join back after 10 minutes break.